You can have a finger scoop of Nutella.
One finger scoop of Nutella.
Fair.
In case of a natural disaster, economic crisis, or zombie apocalypse, here are the 10 best foods to stockpile during food shortages. Peanut butter.
I'm a yoga nut, and I'm a nut.
They say that nothing goes together like peanut butter and jelly. Well, they should start saying that nothing goes together quite like peanut butter and survival. Whether you like it creamy or crunchy, you should know that peanut butter is a fantastic source of protein and healthy fats. It's especially important for its protein content if you don't eat meat. All nuts are very high in protein, and nuts are very good for you. But back to peanut butter specifically. Unless the container says otherwise, peanut butter doesn't need to be refrigerated after it's opened, and it can be kept at room temperature almost indefinitely.
Ted, how many times have I asked you to put the lid back on the peanut butter jar?
While it's most famous as a sandwich spread, peanut butter can also be used in cooking and baking to make peanut butter cookies and other treats. And if you happen to be allergic to peanuts, there are alternatives such as almond butter, walnut butter, and other nut butters. The famous Jif peanut butter slogan is, "Choosy moms choose Jif," but it should be, "Choosy preppers choose peanut butter." Sausages.
Sausages, and more sausages?
Yes, sausages. No, not like the sausage dogs or dachshunds, but like the actual food. Though having a dog as a companion is always a good idea. Whether it be bratwurst, kielbasa, or even hot dogs, sausages of all types are a great food to stockpile in the event of a food shortage or crisis. They provide a good source of protein and other nutrients and can last for a long time thanks to their preservatives and salt. Sausages can also be filled with spices and other fillings to make them taste better. Any type of ground meat with any type of garnish that can fit in there will work. Sausages are very versatile in the number of ways you can cook them up. You can grill them, boil them, fry them, or toast them over a campfire like a scout at camp. And once you're done cooking them, you can eat them in a bun like a hot dog, cut up on a plate, or just chow down on them like a caveman.
What's up with all the ketchup?
Thank you for asking, Rosa. It's for my hot dog.
Just remember to keep them refrigerated, or else the smell will be very, very bad and ruin the rest of your emergency supplies. The last thing you want in your emergency provision pantry is for the stench of spoiled sausage to stink up the place. Canned fish.
Look at this can of tuna.
Yeah, Starkish, Jerry. Most tuna don't make their cut.
Canned fish is certainly not the flashiest or most luxurious food in the world, but foods like canned tuna and canned salmon, as well as other canned fish and seafood, last a very long time. According to the USDA, they can last over 2 years in the pantry. Vacuum-packed pouches don't last quite as long, but they still last a hearty 6 months, which should be more than long enough to tide you over. Get it? Tide? Ocean? Okay, moving on. Canned tuna can be used for meals like tuna salad or tuna melts, or can just be eaten by itself for a filling and nutritious, if not particularly exciting meal.
Bring me the dirtiest, greasiest tuna melt you got.
Canned salmon can be used in much the same way, but it has additional use, something that tuna can't do. Canned or ground salmon can also be used to make a nice, delicious salmon burger. One very basic way to make a canned tuna more exciting is to mix it with a dollop of mayonnaise. But the sky's the limit when it comes to cooking with canned fish. Just remember to have a can opener on you. Cooking the fish while it's inside the can is not advisable. You definitely don't want to have it boil and explode hot fish juice all over you. First time here? Well, what are you waiting for? Take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much. Dried noodles.
Ooh, look, noodles.
No, babe. Don't touch those.
You shouldn't have to strain your noodle to know that noodles are a fantastic choice of food to stockpile, whether they be Eastern or Western noodles. On the Western side, dried pasta is an incredibly hearty food that can last indefinitely if stored properly, and can be easily boiled and cooked in order to create all manner of delicious Italian delights.
Babbity-boopy?
Che cosa?
Peter, what are you doing? Speaking Italian.
Spaghetti, penne, the list goes on. Any of the almost endless types of pasta is a perfect choice. It's very hard to go wrong with pasta like this. Just remember not to break the spaghetti before cooking, unless you want to anger every person in Italy. They will find out, and they will get mad. In addition to Italian noodles, you should also consider stockpiling Asian noodles. You can buy egg noodles, chow mein noodles, and several other options of noodles in bulk at pretty much any Asian grocery store, often for cheap. Instant ramen especially is another good item to keep in your emergency storage box. If you stock up on ramen, you'll feel like you're back in your college dorm room days. It's cheaper than cheap, and it comes with its own flavorings. Just remember that the seasonings are incredibly high in salt. Use them with caution. These packets may taste good and add flavor to an otherwise bland broth, but they're really bad for you. Maybe only use half the pack, or even less. A little goes a long way when it comes to seasonings. Cereals.
This isn't our normal cereal.
Well, because this is the store brand. But it's delicious.
There's a famous saying that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and breakfast cereal is one of the most common ways to enjoy that so-called most important meal. But cereals of all types are a great food for any time of day and any time in your life. To start, breakfast cereals can be healthy, non-perishable sources of fiber and other vital nutrients. Cereals that are on the healthier side, such as Bran Flakes or Cheerios, will give you these nutrients in spades. On the other hand, if you opt for the sugary, sweet kinds of cereals that kids love, like Frosted Flakes or Lucky Charms, they can provide lots of energy as well, if nothing else. In addition to the familiar loose flakes and pieces you put in milk, cereals can come in other forms like granola bars or power bars. These are great for a filling and healthy snack and provide plenty of good carbohydrates.
I brought these nutrition bricks.
In addition, another great cereal grain to stockpile is dried oats. You should keep in mind that oats can go stale if not sealed properly, but if you're able to keep them sealed and out of the open air, they can be made into porridge, an age-old breakfast food that has sustained families for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Crackers.
These crackers need more salt.
For this entry, we're going to be putting on the Ritz. Crackers are fantastic. They're definitely one of the most underrated hearty foods in the world. From saltines to graham crackers and everything in between, crackers of all kinds are a fantastic food item to stockpile, and they have a multitude of culinary uses.
It is the best.
Crackers are a great snack and, of course, go great with soup. Put some spreads or small toppings on them and have makeshift canapes or hors d'oeuvres. They can act as a replacement for bread in a pinch, and they don't go stale or get moldy because they're usually already stale. Whole wheat crackers tend to have a shorter shelf life, but they are healthier and more filling as they have more fiber. Make sure to keep your crackers away from moisture and out of humid environments in order to keep them crispy and fresh. It's never ever fun to eat a cracker that doesn't have a satisfying crunchy crack when you bite into it. They're called crackers for a reason. If they were called chewers, that wouldn't be appetizing at all. No one would want to eat a chewer. Cooking oil.
We need more petroleum oil!
You might think that this is a bit of a bizarre entry on the list, and, well, to be honest, it kind of is. Cooking oil is not exactly a food per se. You definitely don't want to drink it straight from the bottle. But despite that, cooking oil is still an invaluable item for frying and is a key ingredient to making so many delicious dishes, even in a crisis. Olive oil is one of the most commonly used cooking oils, especially in Mediterranean cooking, and a well-kept bottle of it can last for about a year. It comes in those green bottles in order to block out light, and you should help it in that task by keeping it in a dark area. Sunlight can make it spoil. It's also one of the healthiest oils for you, especially compared to other fats like corn oil or lard. However, other oils like coconut oil can last for longer. You don't need to freeze or cool it. Cooking oil can just stay on your shelf in its container. When you're cooking with large amounts of oil, like in a deep fryer, remember to never ever pour excess oil down your sink because it will wreck your plumbing. But if you want to save money and the oil, you can pour it back into the bottle and use it again. Some folks say that reusing the oil like this actually improves the flavor of deep-fried foods. And, of course, if you're in a food shortage, you should try to get the most out of everything that you can. There's no sense in wasting perfectly good cooking oil after using it just once.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
Remember, the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, and recycle can apply to food and cooking as well. Honey.
This is the land of milk and honey.
You have to wonder, there must be a food shortage in the 100-acre wood because Winnie the Pooh's got a honey stockpile that is the envy of any prepper. The sweet honey-loving bear has it right on the money. Honey is definitely one of the best foods in the world to stockpile. The sweet, sticky bee nectar does not spoil if treated properly, and it provides energy very quickly.
Whoa, mama, there's a kick like a mule!
Honey can be used as a sandwich spread, mixed into a sauce like honey mustard, and used for cooking. Cooked honey is preferable to raw honey as it's less likely to have bacteria in it. In addition, remember not to feed honey to babies that are less than 1 year old. There is a risk their young immune systems might not be able to fight off those bacteria. But apart from the unlikely event that you're a baby, you can go absolutely wild with honey, especially if it's wild honey from wildflowers. After all, bees are extremely important to the ecosystem, and you can help save them by buying good honey. Honey is so great, you could say it's the bee's knees. Sorry, just couldn't resist. Rice.
White rice, brown rice. Those are just some of the rices I love.
When you think of rice, you might think of a boring grain that's found in sushi or in a bowl, sitting there unexcitingly.
Falsa, which is Latin for wrongo.
Rice is a staple of many of the world's cuisines for a very good reason. It's an incredibly versatile food and is extremely cheap. A large sack of rice is extremely cheap for its weight, and it can feed a family for days. If you don't want to just eat plain rice with nothing else, rice acts as the basis for so many delicious meals from cuisines all around the globe, like paella, fried rice, arroz con pollo, risotto, and the list goes on and on. You really cannot go wrong with stocking up on rice. And this isn't even mentioning the myriad different types of rice. There's the wonderfully fragrant jasmine and basmati rice, the creamy arborio and violone nano that are typically used for making a nice risotto, and the colorful golden rice and Bhutanese red rice, among many others. Regardless of whether you like it creamy or clumpy, fried or boiled, with toppings or alone, when it comes to rice, the only limit is your imagination. Water.
You folks have a water problem!
What else would be number one besides good ol' H2O? Water is the single most important substance to sustaining human life. You just can't live without it, literally. It's so vital, in fact, that it makes up approximately 70% of your body. That's almost 3/4. So of course you're going to need water, and you should drink lots of it. Dehydration and dying of thirst is not a fun prospect.
I'm for real.
Of course, you can also cook with it, and not to mention that if you have a green thumb, you can use water to feed plants to grow fresh fruits and vegetables. Water is also the basis for so many sauces and soups, and is contained within most other foods like fruits, vegetables, and meats. Of course, you can always get water from the tap, but in the event of a disaster where the tap water is undrinkable, it always helps to have an emergency supply of bottled water on hand. It never goes bad, it lasts forever, it's a basic necessity of life, and it's incredibly easy to stockpile too. What else could possibly be more important to stock up on than water?
Nothing better.
Stay right here and tap or click another great video. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join our notification squad.